There are some notable names in rodeo history in North Dakota, but probably none more significant than the Fettig family. In the 1940s, the Fettigs started raising horses and contracting rodeos. The Fettig family produced rodeos in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Canada, and of course took horses to the National Finals Rodeo and were present at the first National Finals in Dallas, Texas. For the next 2 decades, there was a Fettig stock present at most of the national finals. And this operation continues today, with Fettig horses being bucked at 15 North Dakota Rodeo Association rodeos and Rough Rider rodeos per year. There have been some great horses in the Fettig rodeo string. You may remember some of these great names: Bear Den, Figure 4, Funeral Wagon, Spur Dodger, Red Pepper, Steel Dust, Hobby Horse, Killdeer Mountain, and Reservation Red. They not only raised good bucking horses, but they added class to rodeos with their colorful grand entries and parade entries, and they featured riders with colorful match shirts and black horses with white socks. This famous rodeo outfit has been in business for over 60 years, and today we honor the Fettig rodeo legend and their great contribution to rodeo in North Dakota. And here to accept the award is Leroy Fettig from Dickinson, North Dakota.
Thank you, Winston. I'd like to first of all thank North Dakota Hobby Hall of Fame Board of Directors and their trustees for giving Fettig Brothers Rodeo Company the recognition of being inducted into the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. It is a great honor for myself and all the Fettig brother families to be recognized and to be inducted in this manner. As Winston said, Fettig Brothers Rodeo started in the 40s. Brothers Tony, Nick, Ray, Jack, and Phil, and sister Monica worked together and strived to put on great rodeos throughout that time period. All of the Fettig brothers actually competed in the rodeo arena also, and I wanted to make a little note of that. Tony was the oldest of the brothers, probably competed the most. He went as far as Madison Square Garden to go to the rodeo there in New York back in the late 20s. The other Fettigs also participated probably more locally at rodeos that are very popular, the rodeos that are still going on, the Killdeer Mountain being one of them. Sister Monica was also a big part of the operation. She did the secretarial duties and helped in promotion along with my father Phil. They were very proud of their colorful and matching grand entries, and were probably one of the first companies up in this area to start that tradition. She also had a reputation for always having baked cookies all week, and if there was cowboys that were down on their luck from one rodeo to the next, they knew that if they could make it to a Fettig rodeo, they'd at least have cookies and coffee to eat when they got there to interrupt. Each of the brothers all had a job to do in the business. Ray Fettig was usually chute boss. Brothers Nick and Phil served as pickup men. Jack was always a flank man, and Jack's here today, and he's still doing the same job at 86 years old. And as I said before, stand up, Jack. Stand up, Jack. Nick was actually the first Fettig to have bucking horses in the late 40s, or about 46, and then in the 50s he sold it to my dad Phil, and from then on my dad Phil improved the company by adding Brahma bulls for bull riding, Brahma calves for calf roping, Mexican steers, and so on, so that he could be approved as a PRCA rodeo stock contractor. From then on till 1960, till he died in a car accident, that was probably the last era of the Fettig Brothers Rodeo. From then on, Jack took over the company in '61 and changed the name to Fettig Rodeo Company, and continued to put on rodeos through the 70s. As Winston mentioned, there were a lot of great bucking horses and a lot of great rodeos that the Fettigs have been to. I was just a young man at the time, and he mentioned Figure 4, Bear Den, and all those horses. And I often wonder how it would be if I could have them all in one pen right now today and go down the road with those horses. It would be great. Back in those days, they also trailed horses to a lot of the rodeos. We didn't have fancy trailers and trucks, and Ray was usually the trail boss. We'd go to trail horses to Killdeer, Beulah, Sanish, local rodeos like that. We had horses at the Bronc Match in Dickinson and the Home in the Range, and I'll always remember at about 8 years of age, I was sitting in Dickinson. There was about 9,000 people there, and I think the greatest rodeo show on earth is when a young cowboy named Casey Tibbs matched up with Fettig's Figure 4, and a young cowboy from Halliday by the name of Joe Chase had Barnhart's Whiz Bang, and they rode those two horses, and at the whistle they were both on the ground. And I think that was probably the greatest rodeo event there probably ever will be in my mind, and I don't know, I think if some of you were there, you probably will have to agree with me. Jack continues to rodeo. We're down, all he has is bucking horses, takes horses to amateur rodeos. We raise our horses these days. There's not horses around like there was 60 years ago. Each year Jack folds out probably 30, 40 mares with that anticipation that there may be another Figure 4 or funeral wagon or Red Pepper taking a fresh breath of North Dakota air, or maybe a Too Cool or a Cherokee Charlie come along. We're sitting here reminiscing 60 years later. There's great rodeos today, but I don't think they match up to some of the ones that were tradition 60 years ago when people came and camped for 3 days. It was a big celebration. At one time they talk about Killdeer Mountain Rodeo having 15,000 people sitting there with Model Ts around the wire arena, and at times they didn't even have a wire arena. The Model Ts just made the arena, and they rodeo that way. Lastly, I guess I know that my dad and Nick and Tony and Monica, who aren't here with us today, would be very proud of this recognition that we're receiving. And Ray and Jack are the last two brothers that are still rodeoing. Ray still rides horses and chases them in the Badlands. Jack still's climbing up and down the chutes, gets knocked off once in a while by a bucking horse, and still pulls the old flank straps, and that's what he lives for at 86. And I know that he'll be doing it for many more years if he can. With that, I'd like to say thanks again, and we appreciate the recognition. It's a very high honor for us. And I guess lastly, I'd just like to say we'll see you all at the next big rodeo. Thank you all.
Jack, would you come forward too?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, a round of applause, Jack Fettig. Carrying on the traditions of North Dakota Rodeo.